Hey everyone, it's Jim Turk or Jimmy T from BeatMyDisease.com. Thanks for stopping by. I wanted to give you a little intro video as to what the website's about, what I'm about, why I'm qualified to do what I do. It's possible if you're from the Midwest that you've heard of me. I've done a couple of pretty big interviews, I suppose, BBC Future, Wall Street Journal. I've also done some public speaking engagements. But more than that, I think the relevant thing here is that I was diagnosed with a disease in 2008, and it really turned my life around. Up until then, I was burning the candle at both ends, and that's probably not too different than a lot of you. I was a drummer in a rock band. A lot of times I'd get home at about 3:30 in the morning, and then I'd go to work the next day. So I was really sleeping maybe 4 hours a night on average, and working full time at the same time. I was marathoning. I ran a couple of marathons. So training for that and doing those took a lot of energy, obviously. Can't do that anymore. But this was all kind of happening at the same time. And oh, by the way, I had a wife and kids, and still do. But they certainly kept me busy as well. And a lot going on. And then, because I wasn't abusing myself enough, I suppose, I enrolled in graduate school. And all while working full-time. So I got a master's degree in biotechnology. And so science and research are kind of my background. The other part of it is because I have this disease and I wasn't willing to sit on my hands and just give up, at least not at first, or not after a while. I was at first because I was afraid and didn't know what to do. But I thought I'd tackle this kind of head on. And so I've really taken it on. I read the research. I draw my own conclusions based on my own research background. And then obviously try stuff out on myself, trial and error. I mean, that's kind of what it's all about. I'm my own science experiment, I often say. I think when we're diagnosed with the disease, we feel like we've lost control of the situation because we've lost control of our physical abilities. But our mental facilities are kind of the same as they were before. And so you can't just give up hope because your mental situation is the same, but your physical situation is a little bit different, and that's not reason to completely give up on a situation. And so I've found over years of reading and trying things out that there are many aspects of your life that you can control, right? In science, and what I'm all about is eliminating variables, right? Anything that creates a variable, something that you can't really predict, you'll want to get rid of so that you can concentrate on the stuff that you know creates a result that you're going for. And I use all those items in my control zone program because these are things that we can gain control of. These are things that help our day-to-day life go that much better. We might not be the same physical person that we are or that we were, but we certainly are the same, if not better off mentally. I know I am. I often say that in a lot of ways I think I'm a better person than I was 10 years ago, before I was diagnosed with the disease, just because I appreciate so many more things, and I live my life so much better, and I am a much more healthier person in terms of lifestyle than I used to be, much more consistent, and I've eliminated those variables. I want to help you do the same thing. I'm certain that you can do it. I want you to share this video with a lot of people so that we can together come up with ways to change our lives for the better. I know that we can beat this disease. I know that you can as well, and I'm sure that together we can do that, and I want to help you do that. So when I talk about gaining control, I'm talking about, I use control as an acronym, really. And the C in control, and again, these are all things, variables, these are all things that you can basically take control of in your own life. So the C in control stands for confidence, and confidence is the opposite of fear, and I think that's a big part of the problem that a lot of us have is we go into the situation afraid. We lack the confidence to try new things. And the way I look at it is, what do I have to lose? I'm sure you don't have much to lose either, but my choices are sit on my hands and just watch myself get worse and worse because I have a chronic disease, MS or multiple sclerosis, and many of you do as well. So, what's the downside to taking a risk? And it really isn't a risk once you take it. It just seems, it's like jumping in a pool, right? It's a scary concept, but once you're in, the water's fine. That's what it feels good. Or ripping off a Band-Aid for you non-swimmers in the crowd. So again, confidence plays a lot of aspects of what we do, and I'll go a little bit further into that later. But confidence is the first aspect of control. The second one, the first O, is for outlook. And when we talk about outlook, we talk about how we receive information, how we respond to information, how we present ourselves when we're going out. Are we worried? Are we reacting to a situation? Or are we just observing it? And the object is just to observe it. If we react to a situation, chances are that's in a negative way, and we have a negative emotion associated with that. With those negative emotions come a lot of bad hormones circulating around your body, bad chemicals basically, that affect your immune system and a lot of other things. I mean, any sort of stress that we put on our body has a physical consequence. It's releasing hormones. It's creating a situation where we can't heal. And the whole object and objective of the Control Zone program is to create a situation where we have the best chance of healing. Eliminate those variables. We want to create the best environment as possible for us to heal, for our prescriptions to do their work, for our doctor to be able to diagnose or to create new therapies for the problems that we're having. And that's the whole objective here, is just to create the best possible environment for those things to happen. Okay, so we've got the C, we've got the first O, and then N for nutrition. And nutrition is really kind of my background. My undergrad is in natural science, and I worked in a nutrition lab while I was getting that degree. And it's really kind of always been an obsession of mine. And that's something I already knew a lot about. Once I was diagnosed and I decided I needed to really tackle this thing, I started reading tons of books and scientific papers and doing experiments on myself, like I said. But nutrition was a logical place to start because that was something I had always known a lot about. I'd always researched a lot on my own, and it was easy to see immediate results. If I did the wrong thing, I knew it right away. If I did the right thing, I knew it right away. And you can bet that when I did the right thing, I kept doing it, and that's what this whole Control Zone program is about, is figuring out what works and sticking with it and documenting it and making sure that we do the same thing time and time again. So what I'm going to do is share with you basic rules or concepts for a lot of these things, but in nutrition, we're always talking about magic bullets. It's some snake oil where it's a magic powder that you sprinkle on your food and it's supposed to make the fat go away. Well, guess what? That doesn't teach you anything. So you're actually not getting a lot healthier. You're just dropping the pounds at the time, but it's certainly not something that's sustainable. What I'm going to show you or tell you is what's sustainable, what works for me, what works for you, how to figure out what works for you. But more than that, just basic concept based on what we're built to eat. We're complex machines. We've been around for millennia, and we're really kind of looking at what works for us, what's going to work in the long term. And these are basic rules, easy to follow. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge only in that when you have any kind of a change, when you're going for a change, you're going to see, there's some effort involved. But for me, it's worth it, and I would never consider the alternative. I mean, that's what I want to do. So again, control, confidence, outlook, nutrition, and then the T is for training. And for training, there's really nothing that you'll see anywhere that ever says that training exercise is a bad thing. It's always seen as being good for you. I mean, Resistance exercise, even though it might seem conceptually hard, sometimes people, for example, people with rheumatoid arthritis, joint pain, things like that, or chronic joint conditions, might think that that's a bad thing. Well, guess what? There's been papers written that say that even though that's kind of counterintuitive, not what you would think, it works out great, and it's actually as good as any kind of therapy or medicine would be for that condition. So they recommend it. For example, in Parkinson's syndrome, they've seen that people that walk on a treadmill for, I think it's 20 minutes, 3 days a week or something like that, have a better gait over the course of a certain amount of time, probably, a couple of months or something like that. They have a better gait, which means they walk a lot better than their counterparts that didn't exercise or didn't walk on the treadmill. So really, I cover a whole facet of exercise programs. I personally ride on a stationary bike. That's kind of a regular obsessive compulsive thing with me. Just because I was a marathoner, I always feel like I need to be doing something. But the resistance exercise part of it, I really feel comfortable that I've come up with a system. I have to be really careful about my body heat and get that temperature up. And my legs certainly aren't as powerful as they used to be, but I've come up with a system through a lot of reading and a lot of personal experience where I can do maybe 5 basic exercises that work 5 major muscle groups in the body. I can do 1 set of each of those 5 exercises, and really I get great results from that. So that's what I'm talking about, is making it as efficient as possible. You're not going to the gym and trying to outdo somebody else or look like Arnold Schwarzenegger or something like that. We're looking to get better, right? I'm looking for results, and that's what I've come up with, and that's what I want to help you do as well. So the T is for training. The R is for rest and relaxation. Now, rest and relaxation, everybody pretty much knows that they're not getting enough rest. As I said, I was burning the candle at both ends for a long time, but the CDC will even tell you that most Americans don't get enough sleep. That's just a common knowledge. I'm not going to give you a magic number. You know what it is. You know if you're not getting enough. You know if you need more. The other side of it is you don't want to stay in bed too long, because that just gets depressing. And if you've got a depression issue or something else, it's just going to really, that situation is going to snowball. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. But getting enough rest certainly will help you in terms of gaining control of the hormones in your body, help you lose the weight that you're looking to lose if that's what your goal is, or just healing in general. That's going to help you create a healing environment. Relaxation is about stress mitigation. It's about learning how to, as much as possible, reduce stress in your life. And stress is a major source of bad hormones, bad chemicals that travel around your blood, your body, make it difficult to heal, and other things. And so we want good, happy, healthy, relaxed hormones, and that's going to make our body have a better environment for healing, and that's going to make our whole situation better in terms of eliminating variables and other things like that. So the R is for rest and relaxation. The second O is for others, and that's really about social interaction and serving others. It sounds kind of corny, but there's a lot of evidence, and my personal experience, it changes your outlook. And we were talking about outlook on that first O, and really what we're looking to do is create a situation where all of these things work together and kind of snowball. They reinforce each other, and that's what we're looking to do. Now, when you concentrate on serving others and interacting with others, good interactions, healthy interactions, we're taking it becomes a kind of a selfless activity. We're taking the I out of the equation. We're more interested in working with other people, making their lives better as well. Not at the expense of ours, but just in terms of taking some of that pressure off, so it's not all about me. And I'm not only concentrating on my situation, my pain, everything else. We're looking at making everybody's life better, and working with others is a big part of that. Now, the L in control is for lifting your spirits. that seems obvious, but there are some really definite ways to do that, and things that you can do that actually change your focus and create a happy, healthy, healing environment right now. I mean, this is something that, for example, on the way here, I was listening to music in my car, songs that I really enjoy, that I could sing aloud, tap my foot to, and it just makes me happy. It fills my body with good feelings, and if you fill your body with good feelings, that means good things are happening in your body. You want that to happen. Just like you can watch a sad movie and feel sad at the end, we want to be able to change things to make us happy at the end, because if we're happy, we're getting good hormones, we're getting a good, happy, healthy environment, a good outlook, everything else. It's all working towards making us better, and that's really what this whole thing is about. So I hope that helped you a little bit. There's more to come. I'm certainly going to update you with more videos and blogs and things like that. And it's certainly something, if you know people that are having difficulties, I don't care what their disease or problem is, sign them up or get them in touch with this video, with this website. I want to help as many people as possible. You and me can work together. We can gain control of our situation. We can create a healing environment, and we can beat our disease, and that's really what this is all about. So if you haven't already, sign up on my email list, join BMD Nation, and again, you'll get on a list for blog updates, more videos, other freebies, and if you have comments or questions, leave them below. You can certainly email me with questions as well. I'm happy to help. I'm really mostly just here to serve you. That's my interest. So thanks for watching. Again, Jimmy T, BeatMyDisease.com. Take it easy and good luck.